Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about my favorite mid-round finds the New York Jets have had. But before we get started today, I just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY, and if you haven't already, please make sure to check out the podcast wherever it is that you get your podcast. All right, so the NFL draft is coming up in 8 days. I cannot wait. I'm amped up. It's one of my favorite times of year. And the New York Jets have a ton of picks, and this is a huge draft. I know it seems like we say that every year, but this year specifically, there'll be a new quarterback at 2, and a lot of work from Joe Douglas this year and next year's draft class. So what I wanted to talk about is the importance of hitting on your mid-round picks. Because yes, it's nice that the Jets have a bunch of first and second round picks over the next 2 years. That's great. But really good teams build their depth and quality starters in the mid rounds. Now, sometimes you'll hit and you'll get a home run and you'll get an Alvin Kamara in the 3rd or 4th round, or you'll get a Travis Kelce or a Tyreek Hill, or, like a big star in the mid rounds. But even if you can just get like a solid starter, you're in really good shape. For example, last year, the Jets drafted Bryce Hall in round 4 or 5? It might have been round 5. I forget off the top of my head. The point is, I think that he is someone who could be a solid starter on this team. Do I think Bryce Hall is going to be a star? No. I mean, maybe he can be under Robert Saleh, but I just think when you look at him, to me, I see, okay, quality number 2 corner. Great find in the mid round. So what I want to talk about is just some of the better ones that I've seen since I've been a fan, and I'm not going to go back super far. I turned 26 today, by the way. Yes. Happy birthday me, I guess, if you wanted to know that. So I'm going to go back to the year 2000 and do this millennium. If you have ones older than that, let me know. Drop them in the comments below. And let's get into it. All right, so starting in the year 2000, I want to start with Lavernius Coles, who was drafted in the 3rd round. His best year probably came, with the Jets at least, came in 2002 when he had 1,200 receiving yards. He played 7 seasons with the New York Jets, and in 5 of those seasons, he had 800-plus receiving yards. His 16-game average as a member of the New York Jets, 905 yards, 6 touchdowns. Solid guy. Is he an elite-level receiver? No. Is he a very good receiver? Yeah, he's a very good receiver. Not a Hall of Famer. I think he made 1 Pro Bowl, and it was as a Washington Redskin. But now, at this point, just getting a quality starting outside receiver who had 5 800-plus yard seasons for you and a couple 1,000-yard seasons, that's really good. If the Jets were able to do that in round 3 this year, that'd be tremendous. We'd all be happy. The next guy I would like to talk about is Jericho Cotchery, who the Jets found in 2004 in round 4. He played 7 years as a Jet. He went over 800 receiving yards 4 times. Some of his 2 best years were 06 and 07. He had 961 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2006. In 2007, he had 1,130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, when he was drafted, obviously 2004 was the tail end of the Herm Edwards era in 04 and 05. 06, Eric Mangini comes in, and that's when his role expanded. In his first 2 years, he was pretty much like a special team guy and depth receiver. In 2006, that all changed. He was propelled up the roster, and he succeeded, clearly. In 06 was great, 900-plus yards. 07 was great, and he did play a key factor on those 08, 09, and 2010 teams that were productive. We know the championship appearances in 2009 and 10, and the Jets' offense was good in 2008 until Brett Favre got hurt and played hurt the last four or five games of the year. But moral of the story, Jericho Cotchery in round 4, a great mid-round find for the Jets. To 2006 we go, and personally, my favorite draft class that I've seen as a New York Jets fan. The first guy I want to talk about is Brad Smith, who was taken in the 4th round of 2006. Special teamer, wildcat guy, but an extremely, extremely important piece to those 2008, 9, 10 teams. He had 3 kick returns for a touchdown as a Jet. He was basically Taysom Hill before Taysom Hill we knew that was a thing. Wildcat guy. He could throw, he can run, he can catch. He did a little bit of everything. He was a gadget guy, but he was productive. Was Brad Smith a star? No. Is he a very good role player? Yes, absolutely. And finding a guy like that in round 4 is huge, because how long now have we just had complete whiffs in the mid rounds? And those are going to happen occasionally, but you have to get some kind of production from your mid round guys. And in the Maccagnan era, especially, Jets didn't get that at all. In 2014, that was the Idzik era, the tail end of the Idzik era. But they had 1 million draft picks. They have 10 draft picks in that year, and the best one was Quincy Enunwa in the 6th round. insane. You have to do better on hitting on picks. Again, you're not going to hit on every single one, but a guy like Brad Smith in round 4, extremely productive. Same draft class, same round, Leon Washington in round 4 in 2006. He was a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro as a returner in 2008. As a runner, he averaged 4.8 yards per attempt as a Jet. He had 4 kickoff returns for a touchdown as a New York Jet as well. Finding a player like that and having him be a solid player for what? He was on the team for 4 seasons. That's great. That's perfect. He was more than productive behind a very good offensive line, of course. But that's the kind of thing that I expect the Jets to do at running back under this new regime. I don't expect them to spend a high-end pick, but I expect them to find mid-round talent and get stuff out of them, which is exactly what happened with Leon Washington. It's exactly what happened with Brad Smith. So I'm excited to see what the Jets do at running back position. And speaking of running backs, I got another and one of my all-time favorite Jets. So in 2011, round 4, the Jets found Bilal Powell, the most underrated and underappreciated Jet of the last decade. He spent 9 years with the team. He averaged 4.3 yards per attempt for his Jets career. His best year was 2016, where he rushed for 722 yards and averaged 5.5 yards per attempt. That was the year that they still, for some reason, were giving Matt Forte millions of touches when Bilal Powell was clearly the much better player. He should have gotten a bigger role. Injuries did play a part of that, but he was just a fan favorite and for good reason. I loved Bilal Powell, and his run in 15, 16, 17 was really, really productive. And just, again, someone that Jets Twitter, myself specifically, was beating the drum for him to get more touches for almost a decade. Like, that's how long he was on the team. And I mean, let's face it, in his last year of his NFL career, he was a better running back than Le'Veon Bell. I know that's on Adam Gase a lot, and a part of it's on Bell as well, but he was more productive in 2019 than Le'Veon Bell was for the New York Jets. So love Bilal. It would be tremendous if the Jets find someone in the mid rounds who could be a rotational back for a decade. That's huge. And the last guy I'm going to talk about today is from 2012, and that's Demario Davis. He had 2 stints with the Jets, 2012 to 2015, and then back again for 1 year in 2017 in the that was the Calvin Pryor trade with the Browns. 135 tackles and 5 sacks, his best year in 2017. He was good, not great with the Jets, but he was, a solid player. He turned into a great All-Pro with the Saints. In 2019, he was an All-Pro. Yes, it looks bad that McCagnon didn't retain him, instead went with Avery Williamson. I personally did not think that Demario Davis was going to take the step that he did at the tail end of his career with the Saints now in the last few years, but a solid linebacker. And if the Jets are able to use a 3rd or 4th round pick on a linebacker this year and get them to be as solid as what Demario Davis was, then that's great. And again, there's other examples. These are just some of my favorites since, I've been around and watching this team. You let me know yours, and we'll get after it in the comments or on social media. So if you're new here, please make sure to subscribe, give a thumbs up, leave an applause if you really like the video, and I'll talk to you next time.